Okay, hello everyone. I'm Saggi and I'm introducing you all to Smaug, Cloud Application Data Protection as a Service. So what are the data protection use cases? Usually we have backup and replication, but that's a whole host of issues because you got differential, incremental, full, local site, remote site, guest assisted. In replication, that's a whole host of different options like storage array replication, hypervisor, hosts, guest. You got a lot of stuff, a lot of option, a lot of stuff you can do, and a lot of ways you can do them. So you have multiple use cases, multiple protection plans. Users want to be able to choose the right protection. Vendors need a way to give them the options to be able to plug different implementations. So, but when we talk about data, do we really just talk about storage? We believe the data is much more than just storage. Yes, don't get me wrong, storage is the pivotal point in your data protection plan, but it's certainly not the only one. So if you look at a typical 3-tier application, you got your servers, app server, DBVM, you got the router, networking, you got a whole bunch of different resources all interconnected to form what you call your application. So it's not just your volumes and images, it's VMs, routers, security groups, which most people sometimes forget. You need all of those backed up and restored to be able to start your application. So we want to be able to protect any resource in your application. That means application, services, resources. So our mission statement is to formalize what is data protection for OpenStack. We want to be able to protect any resource, and we want to allow the diversity of different vendors to be able to provide it through a unified interface. So our highlights are open architecture, which means all the design, code, everything completely in the open. We allow the users to set their own policies, which means you don't leave all of the decision making to the admin and then just let the user pick one or two options. We try and give the user a lot more power. We also, as I said, try and look at the complete application, not just your data, not just your storage, it's the complete data of your application. So the concept goes something like this. The user tells Smaug it wants to protect the application. What Smaug would do is take all that information that we talked about, networking, storage, virtual machines, everything, and then push it into what we call a bank. The bank is the cross-site entity that would contain the metadata and maybe some of your data to be able to restore. We all know that OpenStack is great on a single site, but coordinating between two sites, you need that third party. When the user would want to restore, it would go to the target site, the restore site, and that would go to the bank. You can see that the bank is not part of the original site, which means that when the site is down, you still have the information you need to be able to restore, which is completely different from any other solution we see today for that kind of use case. And once you're done, hopefully you'll get your cloud application up and running on the target site. So our API framework, we talked about diversity, and that goes through our API framework. The way we work is that we allow the admin to define what we call protection providers. Protection providers bundle up different vendor solutions into one tiered level of protection. You can see in that example right here, we got the reference implementation, which means we do everything through OpenStack regular services like Cinder backup, read networks from Neutron, everything's as you're used to. But we also allow vendor-specific plugins to go and give you extended information and options that the lowest common denominator solutions usually might hide in order to keep the interface unified. So the way we do it is that whenever you try and get information about a provider or invoke one, what it would do is it would go into Smaug and then query each plugin separately and give you the superset of that information, which means that you can mix and match and it would all look as if it was completely designed to be a single solution. So I'm going to show you a demo now. It's a pre-recorded video because I'm kind of short on time, but I hope it'll give you some idea about what we're talking about here. So we're just going to log in to Horizon like we used to. And what we're going to do is we want to create a plan. We're going to give it a name. It's going to be my 3-tier cloud. We're going to select the provider. You can see that you can have different tiers, or you can just have some user name that is good for you. You can see that we automatically figure out what's the topology of your application. So you can see that the project contains volumes that depend on virtual machines. And for every resource, we give you a completely dynamic options that we get from the plugin, which means every plugin could provide different options for your resource protection. So, and we automatically get that from the provider. You can choose different ways to protect, and then hopefully you're done setting up your plan. You can investigate the plan, and here you can see the stuff you decided to back up and also the automatic dependencies we discovered. So you chose to protect the project. That means you want to protect your virtual machine, storage, everything. And we will allow you to schedule protection for that plan, which means you decided what you want to back up, you decide how you want to back it up, and now you want to say when you want to back it up. That would create a point-in-time checkpoint in the bank for that group of resources with those group of options. So, and now we would look at how a protection provider looks like. So if you go into a protection provider, you can see how it's set up, and you could also see the parameter schema. So that means that if you don't want to use the UI with the dynamic options, you want to use it through a script, you can get entire specification of the options. So you never need to go through to the wiki to figure it out. It's also completely machine readable, which means you can even have your own scripts or UI or interface to be able to integrate with our providers and get complete option information. Also human readable and machine readable. So in order to restore, you would just need to give the keystone address of the target site. It would automatically get information about all the OpenStack services on that target site, and from the bank get all the information and be able to deploy it on your target site. Yeah. So we're just starting out. We're close to having what we call the major resources in OpenStack, which are networking, storage, volumes, images, and VMs, all protected and being able to restore them. Help us build it. Get your vendor-specific plugin in Smaug so you can give your customers the options and features that you couldn't give before with regular interfaces, and be able to be part of that disaster recovery data protection story in OpenStack. Please follow the links. There's a lot more information. We got a wiki, Launchpad for bugs, not that we have any, and look us up on IRC. We're all happy to help. Thank you.